Hello and welcome to my patch notes rundown for the 31st of January. This week's update introduces a lot of changes to lesser used binding contract familiars. Has this given them any additional use or potential? Without further ado, let's get right into it. Hellhound familiar. Damage reduction passive effect has been increased from 10% to 20%. The only way this familiar would be usable is if the addition of the damage reduction alone is what tips the method of consistently killing something viable. There are also diminishing returns on the damage reduction when coupled with the animate dead when the damage received is less than 359 after all of the mitigation. Lastly, it's important to note that offense usually is the best form of defense, meaning that attempting to replace a familiar like Ripper Demon or Blood Reaver can actually lead to taking more damage per kill. Blood Reaver familiar. Hit points increase from 8,300 to 20,000. Blood Siphon Scroll effect decreased from 10% to 5%. Healing to damage passive effect increased from 25% to 33%. This familiar is usually used in cases where the player is AFK in activity, so I can't imagine the slight increase in healing being a big game changer other than a potential fallback plan if things go really wrong. The passive damage increase is also not very significant, as the primary damage source through these hits are still poison procs, which are not affected by this change. Kal'gerion Demon Familiar. Attack interval reduced from 4.8 seconds to 2.4 seconds. Critical Scroll effect duration increased from 15 seconds to 60 seconds. The familiar now gives the player a passive plus 1% critical strike chance. I monitored the hits of the familiar for about 20 minutes, and the range is roughly between 300 and 1350, making its average hit 825, resulting in just over 20,000 damage per minute. I can't imagine the passive making a big enough difference in how and where this familiar is used. However, the increased duration of the scroll might not effectively make this familiar any stronger, but I can potentially see players using this before entering a group encounter like Sarlacc in a similar fashion of using Dragon Balak's special beforehand, although this does come at a pretty hefty cost per kill. Rewards from the Oasis Restoration event can now be unlocked as rare drops by skilling around Het's Oasis. And that's it for this week's patch notes. Unfortunately, I don't believe any of these buffs will change any normal metas for either high level or average players other than making solo and group content easier. Anyways, that's it from me. Thank you for watching and take care.